Hi, I'm Lee Chassing, and today I'm going to talk about my research project, Increasing the Socially Appropriate Behavior of Hand Raising through Behavior-Specific Praise and Planned Ignoring. In this classroom, there's an abundance of time wasted on the redirection of students that blurt out rather than raise their hands during whole group instruction. A target student was identified, and the intervention chosen to deter and change his behavior is to give him behavior-specific praise for the behavior that we want him to have, and to use planned ignoring for his undesirable behavior during group time. And this is to increase the student's use of hand raising versus blurting out. Socially appropriate communication was defined as pleasant social interactions to gain attention. The target behavior of hand raising is included in socially appropriate communication. Inappropriate communication was defined as unpleasant social interactions, such as the behavior we plan to ignore of blurting out. During baseline data collection, every day before whole group began, the teacher would instruct the students to sit down and get ready for whole group. She would remind students that when they needed to speak, they needed to raise their hand. Every day, the teacher had to use several verbal reminders and warnings with the student when he would blurt out in class. Each reminder took away from valuable instruction time. With the already tight schedule that the class has, it was resulting in lost minutes of instruction or pushing back other activities during the day. Once the behavior-specific praise was implemented, the teacher began group instruction by praising students individually as they sat down ready to begin. She focused on our target student, and each time he was in his seat and ready, she would verbally praise him on his behavior. Once the students were ready to begin, she would remind them of their expectations, including raising their hand to speak and waiting to be called on. Once she began, if the student would blurt out an answer, she would ignore his inappropriate communication. Every time that he raised his hand, she would verbally praise him for raising his hand and make a big deal out of it. The child really seemed to enjoy the behavior-specific praise, and he really thrived on all the extra positive attention that he was getting in the classroom. The teacher also enjoyed the intervention because she saw the positive benefits from the child learning to raise his hand instead of blurting out because he was getting all the positive reinforcement. The research from the article suggests what we saw in our intervention, that an increase in appropriate behavior would come from using behavior-specific praise, and that a decrease would come in inappropriate communication when that behavior was ignored by the teachers and his peers. The student's baseline socially appropriate communication was 35 to 60% of the time, and after the intervention, it increased to 70 to 85% of the time. His inappropriate communication at baseline was 45 to 60% of the time, and after the intervention, it decreased to 15 to 30% of the time. After implementing the interventions of using behavior-specific praise for socially appropriate communication and planned ignoring for inappropriate communication, we confirmed these methods were successful in increasing the student's instance of hand raising during whole group instruction. Further research could determine the effectiveness of each individual intervention when not observed concurrently to see which one has a greater impact